Hi, Chris.
Hey, Jake.
You're not in this week's episode, but I should let you know that this episode is brought to you by MeUndies.
I love MeUndies. They have high-quality underwear.
Yeah, if you go to MeUndies.com/thumbs, you get 20% off your first order of undies, shorts, shirts, whatever.
Yeah, and free shipping. That's MEUNDIES.com/thumbs.
See you at the end of the episode, Chris.
What if you got really excited, though?
Hey, I can't believe I'm talking like this, and this is the way I talk now all the time. I know exactly how loud I should be. I can actually sense it. You podcast long enough, you guys know. You get a sixth sense about clipping. You're like, whoa, I think I'm clipping right now. I feel like I'm clipping.
No,
I feel like I'm clipping
time
in life, always.
What a weird lineup.
Yeah.
What a strange...
I love it, though.
What a strange
Back,
episode.
you and me. Just like the old days.
Yeah, those classic episodes.
You and I don't spend any time together anymore. What happened to us?
This is going to be a fucking good show. I can already sense that this is good. This is the vein we're opening up. Welcome to What Happened to Us.
Just fuck everyone
Jake
else.
and Sean, where'd it go?
Yeah.
I want to get clearance on this from you because Chris didn't do it in advance, but you performed multiple harmonies for the Idle Thumbs theme song.
I did, yeah.
We're talking about maybe having an isolated McElroy-only edition for this episode.
That would be really fucking good.
Okay.
I think you absolutely should do that.
Okay, good.
It was beautiful. If memory serves, it was lovely.
Okay. Well, we might
If memory doesn't serve.
If memory
I'm
doesn't
telling you,
serve,
it was also lovely.
You'll know how lovely it
I'll
was or
say they
wasn't.
changed it in post.
Video games, 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 video
It's February 11th, 2015.
This is Idle Thumbs 197. I'm Sean Vanneman.
I'm Jake Rodkin, and we are joined by Justin McElroy of Polygon, and my brother, and me,
And Sawbones. And Quality Control.
The Adventure Zone.
And the Adventure Zone.
Yeah.
And North Carolina. Aren't you from there?
West Virginia.
West Virginia?
That's fine.
Nailed
I've
it.
never
I knew it was a direction in a state. I almost said South Texas.
I've listened to some permutation of you guys do that 196 times. I was not ready for the look you two give each other. It is acidic, I would say. It looks acidic to me. Like, here we go again, honey. Like, that's what it
We're
looked
like Thelma and Louise. We did.
Well,
okay,
except
so-
I never get to do the.
Yeah, when Chris is
number.
here, it's a look of love.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But when Sean and I, it's...
Yeah.
That's what we can work
like
this out.
inmates.
Let's take it from the top.
Yeah. It's like inmates.
Were you saying you want us to start over again?
From the beginning of the podcast. What was the first game you talked about on episode 1?
From the beginning of the series.
I talked about the WarioWare game, or the Wario Land game on GameCube, and I think I talked about Fallout 3.
So this is a relaunch.
Man, so how's it going?
Good.
You're in town for Sketchfest?
Yeah.
You're done with that, though.
Well, yeah, I'm
You're
going to
through
go
with it.
I'm going to go see another show tonight, support other, comedians and other comedians, as though I am myself a comedian. I'm in town for Sketchfest. We did a show in LA last night, and then Sketchfest flew us out here to do a show today with another show on our podcast network during Just a Go, and we did that, staying at the Kabuki Hotel. The Kabuki.
They got a nice spa there. You can get a rub down. You can get. You can sit on some hot rocks.
Nice. All the other Sketchfest performers are staying there. So as one of you said, it's like the Olympic Village. But
Did you guys run out of condoms in the first 7 hours like they do in the Olympic Village?
well, I've been here for
you ever
4
heard that
hours,
shit?
so I'm not. Yeah, like we had to airlift in more.
Yeah.
But it's weird because all the Sketchfest people are staying there. So it's like if you're socially awkward like myself, you're always constantly running a risk of like bumping into somebody that is mildly too very famous.
Right.
I was getting off the elevator while my brother Travis was getting some toothpaste for my brother Griffin, who forgot toothpaste.
3-brother trip.
Yeah, it was a real organization. And I'm getting on the elevator, and Kevin Pollak gets off the elevator.
Oh man!
And I had just gotten my badge from Sketchfest, and I had my hands full, so I put it around my neck because it's just like this convenient place to put your badge. So I'm wearing my badge.
Looking cool.
Kevin Pollak gets off the elevator. I'm getting on, and he looks at my badge. He goes, huh. Walks right past. Fucking the best. I got that thing off so fast you would have thought it was on fire. Like, oh, no, I mean, wait, Mr. Pollak,
no.
All right.
Oh, shit.
Okay. It was fine. He seemed very nice. He didn't. I was going to remind him at the time that my dad and I watched him at the Funny Bone in Huntington, but I didn't think he would have remembered.
No.
You know,
He was too busy giving you one loud, like, exhale chuckle.
Oh, yeah, I remember that Huntington audience. They were great. They loved my Chris Walken.
they love the walk-in, the Funny
They
Bone.
love my Shatner at the Funny Bone in Huntington.
Great
That is
crowd.
now
Great
a Spanish language church because the Funny Bone apparently did not do brisk business.
Still hilarious, though. Still got
Still
it.
really funny.
It's a really funny church.
There's one guy still in there like, bring back Carrot Top. Bring back Carrot Top.
In Spanish, though.
Yes.
You guys, because you had your podcast is very successful, and then you started touring, and now you're like doing comedy shows with comedians and stuff like this.
The weird thing about my brother and me, or any, I think I would guess any podcast is like, if you can go, when we go to like do a live show, after the show, there'll be like a bunch of people who are lined up to meet us. And it's this very weird sliver of what it might be like to actually be famous. Because it is literally instantaneous. Once we've shaken the hand of the last person, this weird bubble of like pseudo fame that we created on ourselves instantly dissipates. Like you go outside and you're like, oh, none of you know, nobody knows.
Nope.
None of you know who I am. Okay. I miss it. I missed back then in that
Oh, man, it's the way,
bubble.
like, if I go to, like, to PAX or something and meet someone who knows Idle Thumbs, it is that weird feeling. And then when they're gone, I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah, PAX is a 3
You
days
go awkwardly
a year.
hide away from humanity again.
Yeah. PAX is that weird 3 days a year where it's just, it's always strange to meet somebody who knows you as a person and they're still a stranger. That's always like that feeling is the one that I always find myself examining later, like what that feels like to have somebody know you before you meet them. It's very strange. I kind of like it. Yeah.
One day you'll get shanked.
I hope not.
One of these days.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
Yeah. They'll be like, there are rhinos in Nepal, and you're just like shivved 30 times.
I didn't know there were rhinos in Nepal. When we were talking about Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
I'm going to seg this into Dying Light because people keep telling me to play Dying Light because I like Far Cry 2.
Mm-hmm.
You've played Dying Light.
A little bit, yeah. Not a ton, but some.
Does that seem like a thing that is
It's hard to say.
anywhere accurate?
I really don't like Far Cry 2, and I really...
okay,
I think Dying Light's okay.
All right. Well,
So
maybe.
far.
So on that scale, it's better than Far Cry 2.
I better. I don't know. I really don't like Far Cry 2.
But you like Far Cry 4. Do you like any of the Far Cries?
Far Cry 3 and 4 are great.
Okay.
Far Cry 2 is like, I already cleared out this checkpoint. Why are these guys back? I get it. You know?
It's the pain of the human condition. That's why they're back.
Yeah, but like, if I want to get that, I'll read a Cormac McCarthy book. I don't need to play video games to get that, right?
Sure, I suppose.
And then,
I
like,
suppose
the-
there might be ground.
and then, like-
there might be ground between Mario and Cormac McCarthy that could be covered by the interactive media.
Malaria thing is like, right?
Man.
It's the worst,
People die of
right?
malaria all over the world all the time.
That's fine. What? That's fine. But it's not about that. It's about a guy who's like has a pill that makes his malaria be gone. His malaria be gone for like a few hours, and you can get better.
That's a mechanic. You gotta like it.
Did he not just take basic precautions?
I
though?
feel like he missed a shot.
He
I think that must have what
have,
happened.
right?
He missed on his cycle of shots.
We've all been
or he
there.
had like a really progressive mom.
Oh,
Being an anti-vaxxer,
yeah.
Far Cry 2 is actually a commentary on anti-vaxxing,
Think
I think.
about
Is what's, yeah.
Yeah, he was from Mill Valley.
Raise a
Marin
mass
County,
murderer.
Far Cry 2 mod where you can spread malaria. Because you can't get, like, but what if when you're coming up...
That is weird.
If
We're
you're
like,
coming down with your symptoms, then you just get near NPCs, they also
I
start
think
dying.
it's bloodborne though. It's like that's why you get malaria from mosquitoes.
Right, so you get
you
shot,
gotta-
you shoot them, you
Oh,
bleed on
and
them,
you-
and then you go back up to your sniper spot and just wait until they all die over the course of 2 weeks. Or however long it
Your
takes
best
malaria.
buddy wants to like cut his hands and do a thing. And you're like, I cannot, and he makes you, and you give him malaria.
the malaria prophylaxis that they give you, the one they currently use, not like, I mean, unless you have a reaction to it, not like quinine, but the
Oh,
more
you're
modern thing.
Sawbones. You know this shit. You're a doctor.
On a
Just like you say at the beginning of your podcast.
jury's out. But it gives you like crazy. My wife went and worked in Malawi for a month because she's an actual person who gives back to the race and everything, the species. And she went to Malawi and she had to take like a malaria prophylaxis, and it gives you crazy dreams.
That's
like
what I've heard.
crazy messed up dreams. I was
Yeah.
actually a little jealous.
That could also be the entirety of Far Cry 2.
Right?
Yeah,
where was
maybe
that
you're just
scene?
experiencing.
You're on that bed the whole time with that guy waving a knife over you, but you're really
The jackal?
you're really just dying of malaria.
You're having
Seemed like
malaria
that guy really had it together. It seemed like he could have just done that. Like, but I mean, we've been there. You get to the airport and you're like, I got my passport, I got my power adapter. I didn't get my malaria prophylaxis. Well, it's all right. What are the odds?
Pretty good, apparently.
100%. 100%.
Design
And
of
then
that
over and over
game.
again. That's another good point. That he does not at any point say like, whoa, back up, Chief. I have malaria. Don't get any closer. I don't want to give you my malaria. Not even in passing does he mention that he has malaria.
He's a strong silent type.
That's something to speak up about, I think.
They were going to wait till Far Cry 3, but then they changed the story.
Oh, yeah. What?
Made it all that exploitative racist bullshit instead.
Yeah, I wish
yeah,
Jason would have had just one fucking affliction other than just being a douche. I just wish he would have had one.
That's a cross to bear, though. I mean, it's its own thing. Plus, he had to find all the fucking rhinos to turn them into a wallet.
That's true.
You guys don't? Do you guys curse? Like,
Yeah, fucking crazy.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I listen. Well, I say that like I listen to the show all the time. I'm a nerd to profanity. It does not. I can't hear it. I'm blind to it. So
Right.
want to make sure.
No, totally fine.
The Island Light seems cool. It's so
the Dead Island guys.
it's the Dead Island guys, and I'll be honest, I was not like super big on Dead Island either. Like,
Right.
had a lot of things that was interesting, and again, this is one of those where like, oh, interesting. That's very weird. Like, for instance, to give you an example, there is a sort of parkour type mechanic, but the jumping button is mapped to, if you're playing with the controller, the jumping button is mapped to the right bumper, which is like bizarre. It's really weird because you're like, it does not feel in any. Your A is a like search around button,
Okay.
and your right bumper is a jump up and on things. And it's an interesting system because it's very much like you look where you want to go and you press right bumper and you will fling yourself to it and catch it. And apparently you get upgrades as you go where like
Right.
your jumping gets better or whatever. But like the fact that it's mapped there is like it's such a weird choice that like it's almost intent. Like, and I tend to engage with stuff like that because if it's intentional, even if it's at first a little unnerving, I'm just so desperate for anything to like do anything interesting there that like I'll be more attracted to it. But
What's the gist of Dying Light?
so
I don't really know a whole lot about it.
you're a secretly you're a government employee for some mysterious agency who finds themselves in a town that has been overrun by zombies, and it has been overrun for like a few weeks or months. So it's sort of, it's not like this is just broken. It's more like people have begun to adapt to how they live here again. So you join up with like a group of survivors who are very much focused on how they continue to survive. So you show up and you sort of enlist yourself as a runner.
Okay, so you go and parkour and do zombie stuff.
Do zombie stuff. A lot of like, hey, I left this trap, disconnected. It's in a car. Can you go hook it up for me? And then, and there's a day nighttime mechanic where the zombies get really vicious at night. So you want to try to be back to the home base before night falls. I haven't played a ton of it. It's been hard to play anything that isn't Destiny lately, but I think I'm finally coming out of that. So, but
What's that? Destiny gotcha?
You live the Destiny life?
I avoided it for so long.
What happened?
man.
Walk me through what that must have been like.
So I played Destiny when it first came out. I got to like level 16-ish. And then I was like, I had the right logical response to Destiny. All right. I get it. I get what you're doing. And then it's this thing where if you write about video games at all, like, it's the only thing people will read. Not the only thing. Okay, wait. But
just the look of despair on your face.
You put Destiny in the thing, and everybody's like, hell yeah, I'm going to click on that. So I figure, like, this thing isn't going away. I got to educate myself a little bit. And it was also a very slow time of year for video games, and I feel like I'm in an AA meeting, but it was a really slow time for video games, and
it's okay.
And I wanted to understand. I guess it was more like an exercise. I wanted to understand it, but then it was like when I was in college and I had to smoke for my role in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest because I was a theater major, and I had to smoke for that, and I was like, I don't want to look like an asshole when I'm trying to smoke. I better learn how to smoke in real life. But what I learned is that your body does not know the difference between pretending to smoke and actually smoking. And I had a legit not acting addiction to smoking for years. And I did not, it was pretty dumb. But that's kind of what happened with Destiny. I was like, wait a minute. I really care about this a great deal. All of a sudden. So I got to like the next to highest level. And it's actually a lot of fun. Like there are a lot of times where it is genuinely fun to do. And when it isn't fun, it can be very soothing. You're doing the same things every day. It's not unlike the bonsai gardening of video games. Every day you log on and you do your mission in Mars and you do your bounties and you get your experience and, you know, you make a little place for it in your life. But I've really, and you know, I have a lot of friends that play it. They didn't talk about it beforehand, so it's, apparently they're ashamed, but I've gotten to play with them and it's been fun, and Griffin has gotten into it, so we've played together and I've been walking him through. There's a lot of stuff about it that seems obtuse on the outset, but once you understand it, and it's similar, I guess, to the right bumper thing in Dying Light, where if a system is initially hard to understand, if you put the time into actually understanding it, you tend to have more of a connection to it. Like my reference point for this is always EverQuest, where so obtuse, like so almost intentional, because they're like inventing a vocabulary for how this sort of game works, and so much of it is like, I wait outside. This guy Dylan Starsign pops every 10 hours, and I need to kill him to get the last page of the Testament of Veneer, like. But it built this sense of almost like it ingratiated itself with you, but also sort of helped to develop some semblance of community, because it's like, I need your help. I don't understand this. I need you to walk me through it. Yeah. And I think Destiny, for all its obtuseness and like weird alternate currencies and weird stuff like that, if you put the time into learning it, it does kind of get into your brain like, oh man, like this is... I have developed some sort of like begrudging respect for this because I have put the work in. Right. Navigating the world is like that too, where I thought it was very weird at the first that there's not a map. Like you can't reference a map other than at the very beginning when you go into a specific planet. You can't reference a map while you're playing. I thought that was so insane. But then when I started to learn like how to actually get myself from A to B, I had more of an appreciation for it. Like I was the one showing people. Someone needed me to show them how to get to a place, which is a really weirdly foreign concept for a lot of games. And
that's amazing though.
Yeah, it's really
funny. Is you're the first person who's ever described Destiny to me in those ways, in sort of
like a
like
social experience.
Well, just like that there is a large chunk of the game that is experiential knowledge that you have to share human to human or you can share human to human to like help them open up the game world. But because like the game is in my brain is the most mass like that. It wouldn't make sense for me in my brain for that to be in the game, because this game is supposed to appeal to literally every living person who plays video games. So the idea that there's any barrier to entry, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like you get, my friend Russ Freshtig has been sort of my Destiny Sherpa through this whole thing, and he will like text me on. There's a merchant named Zer that only pops up on Friday mornings, and then he disappears at the end of Saturday night. And the things that he has change every week, but they're some of the best things in the game. If like super deep in, you don't know like what's worthwhile and what's not. And he'll actually like text me on Friday mornings and say, hey, you're going to want to pick this up. This may not come around again. That's cool. Like I haven't had that in a video game for a long time. And I could go, I could go to Reddit and see what those guys are saying about it. But that idea of like actually like it being useful to, the other thing that you don't hear about with as far as the social aspects go is that aside from just the knowledge, there are things that are too hard for you to do that you can't do by yourself that you really need to do that don't have like a matchmaking component. Like there are these exotic bounties for like some of the best weapons, but they're really hard to do by yourself. So once you get to the last stage of them, like it becomes this thing of like, who can I find that can help me do this thing? And what will I do for them in return? And maybe they'll get some stuff. It's really interesting. It's not something that like any other video games are I mean, not for a long time.
Right. Well, especially a console game. I mean, you're talking about things that like I kind of remember from playing World of Warcraft a lot. Right. And things like that. But I mean, I wouldn't expect
even
that.
World of Warcraft at this point has become very like on the I mean, it steps you into the knowledge that you need. And I'm sure there's some higher level because I've never gotten to like
I've heard
the
that
highest.
It's much more like streamlined and because they're in that like any user we can get, please keep this thing going. We'll need to go back to the heyday of 2007 when this game was, and things like that.
It also is interesting in that it has these daily bounties that you do every day, that you can do every day, where you do these bounties to get experience. And people talk about like, oh, those are so grindy. You need 50 precision kills, which is like basically headshots. You need 50 of these to get this bounty, and it's so pointless because you have to do it. But what you actually learn is that in doing those things, they've actually crafted them very specifically to teach you how to do things. Like they are teaching you how to, because I'm not somebody who goes for headshots normally. I'm like a fully like unload the auto rifle into the dude kind of guy. But like I'm having to use a sniper rifle because this one thing says I should. And I don't know. It's been really interesting.
You really like it. Thank you for sharing.
I kind of did. I'm too tired to be embarrassed about it. Yeah, I like Destiny.
It's amazing. Because none of us have that. I mean, we've all played a little bit of it, probably. I don't think you've played it.
I played it
at Christmas at my sister's house. My sister's big into Destiny.
Really?
Like, yeah, her and her fiance are like doing an 8-hour raid. Gotta get online at 11. Let's do this.
Raids are cool too. Yeah. Raids are really complex, and you need people who have run them before to run you through it.
Yeah.
But when they do, you would think it would be boring, but like for them, it's like, how can I keep these people alive? Because they do not know what they're doing, and it's going to be really hard. And there's a lot of moments before you start something hard in Destiny where the person who actually knows what they're doing is like, I don't know if it's going to be tight. This is going to be tight. It's going to be hairy. You got to hang in there with me. We will probably be able to figure this out, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and like they have quite the community around it. Like their old roommates play, and like they have a whole 2 TV setup situation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they love it. Well, I'm maybe half a step closer to playing Destiny. That was actually really impressive because it's a long walk for me to that game. And I took a few steps listening to you talk about it right there.
That
can't
and he
happen,
pulls
right?
off the mask and he's Bobby Kotick.
No, Rich Uncle, no.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my gosh. I can't.
Destiny and Hearthstone combined were responsible for like $400 million worth of Activision's earnings this last quarter, a year.
Must be more than that.
It was a lot.
No, because I knew Destiny. I think Destiny cracked the $500 million mark.
Oh, maybe it was billion. Maybe there's a B and an M on that.
You also have to give Destiny credit for as wildly popular as it is, and I'm
not trying to take anything away.
No,
from
no,
the
no.
game.
I'm saying I'm saying as wildly popular as it is, that they have not. I'm sure there has been a temptation to, and you can argue about the value proposition of the DLC pack that they released, but like with as wildly popular as it is, I'm sure there has been pressure on some level to integrate some sort of like pay to win, pay to succeed, pay for anything. Like they must be fighting that really hard because there is a voracious Destiny audience that will like dismantle every bit of minutia connected to the game.
Right.
And the fact that they aren't like hammering that audience for every
Do you think
nickel
that's
and dime.
coming though? It has to be coming.
I don't know. I mean, I really don't. It's very strange that it isn't, because like,
I mean, when you have that much of you have that captive audience, you have to like, you might not need them this quarter, but that has to be coming.
it's a real, I mean, it is a real weird relationship though, because almost everybody that talks about the game also has that undercurrent of like, there's a lot of this stuff that's not good. That's really, it's not as bad. I mean, that I recognize is like, oh, that's lame. That's irritating. But I am impressed genuinely that they don't, you can't really pay for anything. I mean, aside from the DLC, like, you know, you're not paying for like weird, arms or weird decorations or weird colors for your ship or whatever. It's literally just like, you wait for the random number generator to give it to you, or you get it by your own gumption, which I think is admirable.
What do you pay for in Destiny besides Destiny the game?
Buy the game and the DLC, right?
Yeah,
That's it?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's it.
Yeah.
What?
I know, it's weird. Yeah, it's like,
How old fashioned.
yeah, you pay for the game and you play it, and it's online. It needs.
Well, you have to pay for your gold or your whatever, right? You have to play.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, but
you've already paid for your online.
I mean,
stuff,
it needs some other. Right now, like the big sort of like stumbling blocks. I think that there's
The big
no
stumbler. It's cool.
The big
My
stumbler
favorite
is
Destiny
a
gun.
robot that you bring down with a rocket launcher. No, the big like there's no. I mean, there could not be less of a social component right now. In-game social component. If you have people you play with, obviously,
Well, because it sounds like for you the social thing is big, but it's more sort of like a meta thing.
it is absolutely like in the actual like big. There's the area called the Tower, which is where people sort of like congregate when they're not killing things. The
Iron
big
Forge.
like social thing there is sometimes there is a ball. It could be bounced around. There is a dance button, and people hit it like compulsively because
what else
they
do you
have
have?
nothing else.
Sometimes there is
There's
a ball.
wave, there's sit, there is dance. So any emotion, it's
It's
like
basically a concert. You just described going to a
Right.
concert.
You
You
can
can't
wave,
talk. You can't
you can sit.
And sometimes there's
You
a
can
ball.
dance, sometimes there's a ball.
You
And you
shout
can-
Freebird. You can dance. People dance. It's almost like Kurt Vonnegut characters. Like they dance because they have no other means of expressing themselves. Like it is a race that can only communicate through dance. Everything. The dance means everything because it's the only thing that they
it
have.
is everything.
It is everything. People will be in the middle of a firefight and there will be a lull of 5 seconds, and almost like obsessively, they will just instantly. Why is he's dancing? Why is he dancing? Because he can do nothing else.
Right.
He has nothing else to offer. Just dance.
But
So it needs something like that. But other than that,
right.
The DLC needs like a pulling like this guy face, like this guy, right?
This
It's like,
guy.
ugh.
Some emojis. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it needs
Emotes.
it needs the Apple Watch 3D face emojis. Yeah. The new Destiny DLC includes Mario 64's stretchy face for your character. Then I'll play Destiny.
Do you want to take a break?
Yeah, we should take one.
We did it.
We did.
We got through one half
I
of
feel like I
podcast.
fucking talked the whole time. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's the whole point.
Video games.
By the time this episode comes out, this is fucking serious. This is dire. Valentine's Day will be 3 days away.
Ooh.
You're a husband, you're a father.
Yeah.
You got that on lock already?
What?
You have Valentine's Day on lock. This is a big deal.
We don't really do it. But if it helps for like the conceit of the bit. Oh
What's
man.
a yes and? You are
Oh.
fucking tired. You just came from Sketchfest.
Oh man. You know, us husbands. The little lady at home got to have something to bobble.
Well,
yeah, for
guess
sure.
what?
Help me.
May I recommend Sherri's berries? They're giant, freshly dipped strawberries, starting at $19.99. Over a 40% savings for the miserly father / husband. You can go to berries.com.
How many berries?
Click on the microphone and type in the code thumbs. Dude, you get a lot of berries. I think you get a dozen berries.
It's like a weekend
Might be-
project
it might
you're
be a
giving the
half dozen.
person. Hey, you know what you're doing this weekend? Eating
doesn't-
berries.
But you can, you know what? You can get double those berries for $10 more. If you use the promo code THUMB, first thing you do, click on the microphone, use thumbs. You're going to get a bevy of options here.
A bevy of berries.
These berries are huge. Have you ever had a Sherry's berry?
No.
Sherry's berry is a sensational berry.
It's the size of the face of your baby.
Okay.
They're large. They're
Okay.
distressingly large berries.
Upsettingly large berries.com. That's the website address to
It's
go
actually just berries.com.
That's nice.
berries.com. Click on the
That's a
microphone.
top shelf domain for some top shelf.
It's a
berries.
really good domain.
Yeah. They were squatting on
I don't
that
know what
since
I'm going to... It's
1994.
1996. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, but it's going to involve berries. I got to get on this
They
bus.
started growing the berries when they bought the top level domain.
Yeah.
Because the berries are so big that they must have been on the vine for over 12 years.
Or in chocolate?
Chocolate
on them?
covered. They're delicious.
I think the little lady will really like that. Get me out of the doghouse. You know?
Well, this will definitely get you out of the doghouse.
Video game.
There's a podcast. So on the Something Awful podcast forums, someone complained like, "Why isn't there just a podcast? It's just like the news of the week. Like, why do people always just have to have their opinions about stuff?" Then someone was like, "Well, here I made one called Video Games Newspaper, and it's just a guy rumpling a newspaper and then just going, oh, sounds like Halo 5 still got some patch issues." And then it like turns the page.
Oh, shit.
And there have been like 5 episodes of that
Oh,
podcast.
I gotta track that down. That's
And they're
awesome.
stupid as fuck, but it's so good. It's just like a bored guy talking to himself over his breakfast while reading a non-existent newspaper.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions I just want to ask Justin of being alive, about being a person.
Yeah, I'm
About being a real man.
Yeah, that's a good... Yeah, I'm the perfect
can just
candidate
do
for
like-
that conversation. Sure. Definitely. Teach me how to Dougie, Justin.
Look, you're looking at my list. Number 3 is Teach Me How to Dougie, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Number 1 is I want to know what love is. Yeah.
I'll show you.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Good. I want you to show me.
Keep an eye out for profilers.com. You got delivery coming your way. That's love. You want to show somebody you love them? Do that.
Yeah. Make all your friends jealous.
Real love.
So,
Someone wrote you, and yeah,
a reader wrote us, Archie Bagnall.
solid.
Hi, Archie. Hi, guys and girl. Just guys today. Sorry. I've noticed over the last few months of the cast, as a game is being described, it often comes with a caveat that it's in early access. Depending on who's describing the game, that's sometimes a good thing, or not such a good thing. I remember there being good thumbs discussions about great potential that early access and Steam Greenlight was going to give to both players and developers, and I wonder if you felt that potential had been realized or not. What a good question.
Woof.
You don't think that's a great question?
No, I think woof is the answer to that question. There's a lot.
Buzz's girlfriend.
Buzz's girlfriend. Woof. Let's unpack that woof. I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this before, even since then. I think when we talked about Steam Greenlight at the beginning, it's because we didn't know what it was along with everyone else. And what Steam Greenlight is...
Classic thumbs discussion. We don't know what this is. We got opinions about
I'll
it.
actually tell you what I fucking think about Steam Greenlight. Actually, I honestly still don't know what to think about Steam Greenlight. I don't really care about it, but I know there are some people whose games will only ever get on Steam because of Steam Greenlight.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Steam Greenlight came out, it was like, this is the only way to get on Steam. But that doesn't seem true anymore.
That's
Steam
the only way to
Greenlight
get
is
Steam,
still,
or
like,
still write a rep at Valve, or whatever. But also...
it's distressing to me.
Steam Greenlight started off as this really exclusive thing where they'd let like 10 games in at a time, and now they're just like open the floodgates and just like, okay, we've flushed out the Steam Greenlight reservoir. That's all on Steam now. Anyway, we'll just back it up again for another month. I don't understand it enough at this point to know I'm not.
Do you guys have an early access review policy and things like this?
We have, we got 2 things. We actually started doing early access, like, write-ups that are not really reviews, like, with scores. And then we actually just started this week doing provisional review scores that are for, like, actual, like, box products that are...
Is that where it's like
released as
grayed out or
retail.
something?
Yeah, basically. It's like, this is the score we would give it, but, like, we're not... the basic... I mean, the practical upshot is it won't end up on Metacritic until it's actually...
So this
like,
is in case you're SimCity, based.
Yes, when we started the updating review policy,
Like being catfished.
it was when we started the updating review policy, it was based on the idea that like games evolve over time. So like it made a lot of sense in that regard. Like, well, they add new things, things get more interesting, or a community dies around a game, and then all of a sudden it's not worth picking up. And what we didn't anticipate is like how once we put that policy in place, games would start coming out and we'd have to use it like almost punitively. And it wasn't designed to be that way,
Right.
but like that was the state of things. So we're trying something different.
And by punitively, you mean like an Assassin's Creed situation where you're like, this game's just broken, or do you mean something?
I mean, like giving SimCity like an 8 based on its theoretical. I don't remember the actual number, but SimCity 4, like
your initial impression of it, and then as it lives for a minute, you're like, "Oof, this is actually."
Like when it comes out, I mean, like it worked when we played it, and then when it comes out, it's broken, and like it's
the beta was cool, but it was like. It feels like they remember that.
Yeah,
it was like they got you out of the beta right before the game got bad.
I mean, this was based on like the
right, but you guys were playing on the servers when it was just press and
just us, and it was like,
right?
yeah, it was great. So, and then it was broken, so it was like, okay, well, I guess that's. I mean, and that becomes a very weird question, like how many points of brokenness is it? Because that also becomes like impossible to quantify. Because
so instead of saying games evolve, you're sort of now like games will settle basically every time they'll sort of settle down.
That's probably closer.
And, like, firm up.
That's probably closer to it. Like an unfinished flan. Games will come out, and then you have to wait for them to finish setting up. Yeah, but we do early access. I get a little anxious about it because I feel like at this point there's so much on there. I feel like I'm constantly missing really.
On Greenlight or early access or both?
Yeah, both. Like I feel like there's a lot of cool experiences that I'm missing, and it becomes like way harder to curate. Like, I mean, they actually have things called Steam curators now, but there's a lot of stuff in there like I've already played or whatever. I feel like I'm constantly missing stuff because there's such a glut of games on there.
At this point, I kind of have just entirely disengaged and give all of that stuff time to settle down and wait for sort of like the sifting.
It's almost like how you have to use the mobile. Like the App Store, like wait for things to sort
wait for
of,
the
like,
sifting
rise.
process of time or my Twitter feed
well,
to say this is totally
even
worth.
The charts don't even matter. They sort of have to like bubble in the zeitgeist.
Yeah,
you know. And I'm like, oh, okay, Grey Goo. I've heard from 4 different mouths that don't know each other. I guess I'm gonna go play that now. You know?
And then
Grey
you realize
Goo,
they all
these mouths.
You know, though, it's like you have to just keep your ears open, which is a really weird way to be a consumer, I guess, or just to be into games.
Why aren't people just telling me what I should play?
Or just like, you know, if I like movies, even movies, I guess is kind of tough. Like, it's even getting more. It's just. I actually think it's a byproduct of just digital marketplaces, like purely of discoverability and what. There's just so much. It's an infinite on offer. Like.
I thought you just said an infinite on offer,
sure, like,
as if ON-OFFER was like a way to describe
things that are on offer.
It's just an infinite on offer.
Try having a semi-traditional video game media outlet about this kind of stuff. It becomes impossible because the hard thing is you get to this point where it's like, okay, well, obviously AAA releases we're going to talk about, and then there's like this whole other layer of really interesting games, but it's this weird thing of like, why are we going to profile why are we elevating this one thing to talk about? And it only has to become like part of the, you know, why are you talking about this game? There are a million other games to talk about.
I think that's partly goes hand in hand with sort of personality trumping the voice of editorial and the voice of an outlet in a thing where because if you're like, why are you talking about this? And you say, well, it's just because I like it because I'm Justin McElroy or Jeff Gerstmann or Total Biscuit or whatever. Like, people don't the sort of the voice of an outlet seems like in a lot of ways in that conversation is getting superseded by the voice of individual personalities.
A lot of people still see it though. Like a lot of people find it really hard to divorce. Like
there's some people who call Apple Mac call you Polygon,
right? I mean, we write opinion. I think a lot of that, like in big letters, it says opinion at the beginning.
It's got that pink to purple gradient on it.
Polygon said no. Polygon didn't say that. Just one cat did, and also I didn't agree with that guy, so I don't know what his story is. But
you totally slammed him on Twitter over it too, because that's what you do to your coworkers on Twitter.
I do. I'll take those motherfuckers apart.
Right into the street.
Street rules.
Yeah.
I'll
like Training Day.
I'll savage
Denzel
them.
Washington.
I'm King Kong.
I think he's above King Kong.
What?
King Kong doesn't have anything on him.
Oh, King Kong has nothing on him?
Yeah, exactly right.
Like Jumpman.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, it's weird though. Like, so I'm going to kind of put you on the spot, but of course we'll cover the AAA games,
right?
And then there's this whole strata of other games where we have to have a conversation about why are we covering that one and not that one.
Yeah, and what it ends up coming down to is does it catch a writer's fancy, right? Like,
right.
My
question is, why do you feel obligated to cover Assassin's Creed?
What? You
know, as opposed, like, you know. Like, I think Papers, Please was featured well on your site, but that was obviously like a selected one.
Well,
you know?
I mean,
I'm trying to
like,
think of games that are like
we are,
that
I mean,
strata.
there are,
Gone
okay.
Home? You guys love this shit. I got home.
Oh, God.
We don't
Who's
need to
not
go there.
sick of hearing about that one, right? I get
How
it.
embroiled you were over that.
Not even a game if you think about it. Anyway, okay, so the answer to that is that, and this is, a lot of this is like largely self-serving, but like,
It's okay.
this marketplace has become so insanely diversified, like so insanely split and down so many different possible pathways and markets. And, you know, there are people playing a certain kind of game, you know, there are people playing like threes, and then there's another guy playing Halo, and these guys don't even think, like, they don't even think they're in the same hobby. Like, it doesn't even occur to them that it's the same medium, you know?
Right.
So it's so stratified that I think the strength of the AAA games and the reason that they get coverage is like they are, and this is to a much lesser extent than even 5-10 years ago, but like they are at least unify some segment of the, like they can at least get something approaching a critical mass behind them, because you can know at least 1 million, 5 million, whatever. At least we know this number of people are talking about this thing. And at least we know that amount of interest will be behind it.
Right,
like,
right. I understand that. Like,
but I mean, there are definitely like AAA games, quote unquote AAA games, whatever that means anymore. AAA games that like we just don't. I mean, that nobody's interested in. You know, we have to. You know, well, I don't know. Do you care about this? No, not really. But and also there are a lot of really interesting conversation. Like, I think there was a lot of interesting conversation around Assassin's Creed Unity. Like that raised,
for sure,
for me, like a lot of like,
it was outside of the context of the gameplay experience,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
In terms
because
of
the faces were melting off
the
of people and
design
stuff.
gameplay
Because it was the
experience.
worst game. Like for me, everything that is bad about video games in 2014 was exemplified by Assassin's Creed Unity. It was,
Cover it in front of the box.
yeah,
Polygon
Polygon
said that.
No, it'll say idle thumbs now. Got him on mic. Got him on the computer right there, saying it.
It's true.
Perfect.
Nice.
On blast. Take that, AC5.
burn.
What's next? Who else told us things?
Oh man, I could talk about that stuff forever. It's really interesting to me. Thanks, Archie.
Don't mention it.
God, good names. Wait, is this right? Yeah, I'm gonna. It's like a little longer, so I'm gonna go fast. But it gets to the heart of something we've already talked about on the podcast, but I want to talk about with Justin. This is from reader Damien. He's got a sensational last name, Damien Martini.
Whoa.
Hi guys, I loved your discussion about how things age well or not and what factors affect that. So I thought I'd add my own 2 cents.
Oh, we're going to talk about your tweet.
Yeah, recently
Oh, good.
Origin gave free copies of Theme Hospital. I was telling my wife, "Hey, look, I used to play this. You need to check this out. It's so funny." Before I know it, I had played 3 hours of it, and we loved it. I think video games, like movies, become timeless when they are universally fun. Okay, American Beauty used to be a masterpiece. Now it's weird and kind of pandering to pedophiles because it was the perfect masterpiece for the hollow feeling of the 90s.
Pandering to pedophiles?
I think
Pedophilia of the 90s?
it's just that's his
No,
nice
wait, the what
rhetoric.
feeling? The hollow?
The hollow feeling of the 90s.
Oh, hollow feeling. holophilia. I don't know
The
what that
hollow
is.
the holophilia
Yeah,
of the 90s. Well, it was like a cyber.
Me, I'm into holograms. That's my thing.
I feel the same happens to games. Some graphics top
holophiliac.
genre is very hot at a particular time, but will fade with time, and only timeless good fun will remain. It happened to survival horror, adventure games, etc., and will happen to FPS and sandbox games. If you can distinguish what is a fad from what is timeless, then you'll always be awesome. You always have awesome games in your library, and you will also be awesome. Yeah, then he asks a question about Daniel about level design, but I was just using that as a segue to talk about Grim Fandango a little bit because I wasn't on that podcast.
Okay.
You guys stoked for that new rock band?
What?
I don't know. I'm sure that rock band's coming back.
Oh, you mean?
They're making some moves. They're like putting out surveys and shit, asking people what instruments. That's not BS. Asking people like what instruments they have and how they'd want it.
Theremins only.
Yeah.
Theremins only?
Oh my god.
Which rock band parody shirts, which Guitar Hero parody shirts did you respond the most strongly to? Accordion Hero?
Theremin
Sousaphone?
Hero?
Yeah.
Theremin Man?
You just want theremins.
It's not to love.
You can already do a theremin simulator with just 2 PlayStation moves, probably.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure
an
Doug
eye.
Wilson's already made it. Yeah. But were you in the, sorry, I don't want to put you on an opinion, but were you on the camp that Grim Fandango didn't age well, but that was a design thing?
You did not like playing Grim, correct? But
No.
you did not play it in the 90s, is that correct? Or you
I feel
did?
like you had to give it a 7. Be honest.
What do you mean?
Didn't you give it a 7 on Polygon?
I did, yeah.
The remastered?
Oh,
Did you
no,
feel
wait,
like-
we don't score our own reviews.
Oh, okay. Fine.
So other people read it and they say that
interesting.
sounds like a 7.
I did not know that because the thing that you...
I think I knew that.
I don't know.
I mean, you
I don't know
can.
how sites work.
There's like veto power, like I think you can say like, well, that's
Right.
not right at all.
If they
Let
come
me,
back with
if
a
you
3,
think that's
you're
what
like,
it,
whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
if you think that's what it reads like, let me see if I can. We can come to some common ground here, but like I didn't score it. I mean, it felt like about a 7 to me, but so I was really nervous about that one because I was coming to that review from the place of somebody who hadn't played it, didn't have a nostalgic connection to the game itself, and I almost said, I almost passed it off to somebody who had more experience with it. But in the end, I thought, well, like, this is our perspective. I guess it's a worthwhile one because other people will be coming from the same, the same position as I am.
There's a seat, or probably the majority of people.
But it's
who
so
bought
hard to
haven't
count.
did
Like,
that.
that's the problem with doing, like, the review for our website. Like,
Right.
there's the Polygon opinion on a thing. Like, well, no, it's like just I'm just some dunderhead who plays a lot of video games. But I didn't love it. I love the aesthetic. I thought that was great. And it's actually, I commented on this in a review, but it's weird how, like, it's kind of unfortunate that, like, just having a game that is infused with, like, a lot of, like, Latin American and, Mexican, a lot of the different folklore there, like, still feels really cool and
Like, that part
fresh.
is, like,
And,
potent and
you
stands
know what I
out,
mean?
yeah.
Like, that still is like, oh, wow, this is really fresh. Like, just because it's not the same freaking
think,
thing.
like,
But
that's like 90% of. If you think of, like, if you ask Steve what is like one of the top 4 most influential games, he would say like something like Full Throttle. I think he would say Full Throttle, but like Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, and I think most of the joy of adventure games for me has never been the mechanics and puzzles and
And for me, that's especially true of Tim Schafer's
yeah,
games.
it's all just where do I get to go and what does it feel like when I'm there, and like that's always what's just inspired. Like I don't care what the mechanics are. Like I really don't. Like in a video game, I just want to go someplace and not have the mechanics get in the way. But it's so rare in a video game that you get to go anywhere. And if the mechanics get in the way of being in that place, then I get really frustrated. And that's my Assassin's Creed criticism forever. It's like, oh man, finally a place I actually want to go. And then
Wow, because
okay.
people really Assassin's Creed? Because
Well, if
Assassin's
you
Creed
think of,
also
like-
gets fucking slammed by everyone because you just press forward and your guy just climbs over everything and just goes wherever
But
the
it's
fuck
still
you want him
amazing
to
to
go.
go run around Rome.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. I just want to go to the place, and have something interesting to do. But I don't ever feel like the thing to do there is interesting.
for me, I think that was hindered because of how much, like, backtracking I had to do through, like, the set.
Grim.
Like, in Grim, there's, like, a lot of, like, man, this is really cool the first 3 to 4 times that I kind of wander across, like,
When you're wandering across the bridge with the
the
blimp
bridge or
over
the
it.
blimp. The first time, like, whoa. Second time, whoa. Third time, whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I can't do this again. And I will be also honest. And I've actually talked about this with Arthur a little bit after he did his review of Dying Light, which is a really long game. And there is a part of you as a human being, and there are lots of, like, human impulses that you have to learn to ignore if you're going to try to review something with any amount of objectivity. Obviously, that's impossible,
Yeah,
but
it's-
trying to give a fair shake to things. And when you have to finish a game to write the review of it, and there's a lot of things that seem intentionally put there to impede that process of
Right.
that happening, that can be really frustrating. And like, and there is, and again, that's like, you're
that's-
trying to balance it as like a player, but also someone who's writing a review of a thing. But like,
Yeah,
I would need to finish this. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm sorry. And if you're just talking about the world, I have almost no complaints with that.
Yeah.
Mechanically, a lot of it seems intentionally like obtuse in the way that like, and people can hold it cherished in their heart. Games like that killed that genre for half a decade. Like people threw up their hands and are like, no, you know what? Fuck this. You put the maple syrup on the tape with the cat hair and make a mustache out of it. I ain't doing it anymore. That sucks. Come back when it's based on Back to the Future. Then we can talk again. Right now, I can't do it. Like, I don't mean to say that just Grim Fandango killed adventure games. Obviously, take that, Tim. No,
but
I would say it's a brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that kind of game wasn't made for a long time because people had to figure out how to make games like that a broader audience. And I mean, like even people like Roberta Williams, who I think is a genius, has said things like, "I think the computer game audience used to be very." It was a higher level of intelligence of people, and it's like, okay.
Well, it's very
I hate that. Right. The adventure game community itself like raised that quote up for years. But I think what really was going on is just the theme and story and stuff of adventure games were advancing and becoming increasingly interesting and complicated at the same time as the puzzles were becoming more and more complicated adventure game puzzles. But those two things totally, like, those tracks diverged in the same game, and at a certain point it's just like, what? Why am I playing this to achieve this? Like, it doesn't, I don't know. Like, the puzzle thing sort of jumped off and went into, like, Myst was the most extreme version of no story, all puzzles. But if you try to have that level of just obtuse, weird, sit at your desk for, like, 5 hours to figure out this one solution to a combination lock on a safe, like in Grim Fandango, but then that's married to this crazy film noir story, it breaks apart for me personally as well. Like,
I mean, it's gonna sound like I'm blowing smoke, but thank God that Telltale came along and figured out a way to get out of the way of the world that you just wanted to like be in and experience a story and help to shape a story and get out of the way with a lot of like quote unquote like puzzles, which I think a lot of it just boils down to experimentation.
Yeah, I mean, there's like some puzzles in episode 1 of The Walking Dead. Then there's a few in 2, and then eventually by episode 4 and 5, there's none.
Well, it's funny because
we kind of always, but that was so fucking hard. Like it was, and to Dan and Kevin's credit, they didn't care. They were like, yeah, fine, no puzzles, whatever. But like other designers were like, where the fuck what is this game? There's no puzzles. What is it if there's nothing? It is nothing if there's no puzzles. And like we would like, it was really fucking hard. It was, we made, like Jake and I definitely am not on some speaking terms with people still, because it's like, well, fuck, like I guess you think I'm an idiot, like it was really hard to get puzzles out of the game.
It's weird.
It's entrenched in design.
It is weird that and this is the problem,
it seemed
that
like Dying Light's too long.
This genre or this entire medium is so hung up on nomenclature that it is really weird that adventure games, which is already a crazy a crazy title for it, like adventure game, that means nothing.
Right.
And then it's like, wait, so Maniac Mansion and Walking Dead are like, that's the same genre? Because it seems pretty
Maniac
like
Mansion and Walking
that.
Dead are also even closer than some adventure games, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But like, there's. But
I've been awake for a long time, so I'm just gonna go with whatever.
No, it's true though.
Right.
It's like, I mean, that was the first one in terms of.
I mean, you could draw a much clearer line from Doom to
Destiny.
From
than you
Doom
can
to
from
Destiny.
From Doom to Destiny, the Justin McElroy story.
Yeah, it's like I kind of feel bad for the actual like 90s style graphic adventure game fans who are in a bummer of a place at this point, but at the same time I'm really glad that like The Witness is coming out on one hand, which is just like, if you want the game where you just mull over puzzles for hours,
500 plus puzzles,
just kind of wander around a space, solve puzzles, or there's like Telltale, or I guess like David Cage or whatever, which is like story, world, weird stuff that you explore. And like, I don't mind that those are not trying to zip themselves up into the same game anymore the way that they did in the 90s.
Right. And again, I completely, and that's what was so hard about the Grimm review is like, I like a lot of games from that time period that do not, that today, if I were to go into them cold, I would not enjoy whatsoever. I mean, that's nostalgia in a nutshell.
Well, it's also you were younger, right? Like, that's the thing that I think about when I was playing Monkey Island 2 and Grim Fandango and stuff. Like, my friends and I, when Grim, not right when Grim came out, but a little while after, I remember just being at a sleepover where people playing Mario Kart 64 in one room, and then in the other room, people who were just staying up all night just eating 5 sheets of Little Caesars pizza, basically, were just grinding through Grim over the course of 3 days. And it's because, like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, you couldn't alt-tab
if you love
Twitter.
If you love the story and the world of Grim Fandango and you're a teenager or a late elementary school kid or a dorky high school kid, why not just spend 3 days figuring out the combination on that safe or walking back and forth under the blimp? Because you know you're going to get an experience you're not going to get anywhere else in your entire life that you have not experienced before. But now it's like,
I have memories of playing Quest for Glory 2 and my dad sort of like watching over my shoulder because he had already finished it and like kind of nudging me in the direction of like, hey, well, have you tried? Well, what about do you remember what that was always
right?
Do you remember
what that guy said?
Did anybody say anything about using a mirror as a shield? Do you remember anything about that? It's like, whoa, probably a little less direct than that, but I mean, Dad was better than him.
Quietly
Do you
puts
remember
his
what was
hand
on
the
page
mouse.
25 of that hint book that someone faxed me over a third generation fax?
I'm on a few BBSs.
I'm just gonna leave this here.
I'm just going to leave this roll of thermal paper here that contains all of the secrets to Quest for Glory. I imagine people did not fax each other strategy guides the way that people fax like old comics and stuff.
Yeah.
Like old racist comics.
Can't get this at the store.
I'm worried people are going to be mad at me because I said not nice things about Grim Fandango.
Don't worry about it.
I love the world.
People are going to be mad at you.
I think the world is really cool. Like I just wish it didn't feel so antagonistic sometimes.
I'm going to get you a pin to wear at events that says "Ask me about Grim Fandango," which is a reference to an inside joke in Monkey Island 3. That'll just make your dreams
That would be perfect.
real.
And I also wonder how much of that is just changing the world, like, both age, but also like, I don't want to sit on a game I don't want to play a game for 2 weeks.
Except this is Destiny.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, there's different ways of keeping people hooked in a thing, and you can't, because of the advent of the internet, you can't keep people playing a game for a long time that way anymore.
Yeah.
You used to be able to extend the length of a game by making it really hard to finish.
Right, yeah.
But you can't really do that. So, I don't know. That's not the world anymore. So you got to put a bunch of guns in it and collect all the guns.
Should have been some guns and Grim. Just gun Fandango.
What if Grim Fandango just could randomly roll you a bunch of guns, and your buddy could show up and tell you how to get to somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
What's up?
Well, get ready for Grim Fandango 2.
Goatee.
Disney, Sony, and Double Fine. There's a hot air balloon outside with my mom in it, apparently. So all right, I gotta go.
Well, Justin, thanks so much, man,
Yeah.
for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
This is amazing.
Can't believe it's over already.
Well,
We'll have you back. Won't you think he'll be back out here? I'd love to do. We need to do a 6er or a 5er, at least a 5er.
Yeah,
Get
for
you and
sure.
Remo in the same room. Get you arguing about something.
Yeah.
I would love that.
We could
I know it's
argue
hard
about-
with the baby, but you got to come back.
We could talk. You guys could talk more about the Far Cry 4 box art. We could get back on that.
Oh, I would love that.
That was
I'd love
great.
nothing more than to do that.
That was good.
I'd really like to dissect it.
Okay, I did
inch by
discover.
inch. Oh, no.
But now you've played
Oh,
it, so
no.
it's not going to be as gripping
This
as
is
it
a really-
was
this is
the
an
first
important
3
image.
hours talking about, well, the color of his pants are like, maybe that means just play the fucking game. I'm yelling at my radio at home. Just play it and then come back and talk about it.
Why would we do that when we can talk about what a tacky douche he was?
I did discover that the Far Cry 4 box art 4.
Yeah.
4. Yes.
Four.
Yeah.
Four?
Especially the original version where he's got his hand on the native man. You can take that image of Geoff Keighley with the Doritos and Mountain Dew and just Photoshop that over the top. Perfectly lines up. It's the Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon of video game promotional images. So check that out. And for the ultimate sort of icing on the cake, you can then overlay an etching of the like Illuminati all-seeing eye pyramid, and it's really nice.
And I just got a new Twitter icon. Perfect.
What I'm saying is Bush did 9/11.
Loose change, right? Inside joke?
Yeah,
Yep. With you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping in.
yeah.
False flag.
False flag. If you have a question for us and not for Justin because he doesn't live here,
We can forward him to him. And he can
well, if
answer
you have a
them.
question for anyone, including Justin, write us at questions@idlethumbs.net.
If you have any questions about the temperature at which steel should burn and think about it, open your eyes, sheeple. Hit me.
You think jet fuel can burn metal, then you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
You're a fucking
Get in line. Fatten for
let
the
us-
slaughter.
Let us know your thoughts. Questions@idlethumbs.net. This podcast is at idlethumbs.net/idlethumbs. We're
Or
on,
just idlethumbs.net.
yeah, we're on Twitter at idlethumbs.
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.com/idlethumbspodcast. Check out these videos with a bunch of annotations to a disgusting amount of detail at youtube.com/idlevideos. The envy of all other podcast hosts, as I discover over time. I don't know if you
Are
care.
you into idle videos? It's amazing. We'll show you.
Every
Yeah.
episode, all conversation topics with time codes and hash links so you can jump to them. It's crazy.
Holy
we have
crap.
a reader who does that for us.
Sorry, I just had the distressing realization that there's going to be an episode of this podcast I can't listen to. And I don't know how my podcast schedule is going to recoup
We can send
for
you
that.
one where we pitch modulate you to sound like a kidnapper voice. So
Yeah.
that'll
That's
be fun.
true.
It's perfect.
Yeah. If it matters, Chris got the episode number wrong last week. He said 197 as well. So there's two 197s in the world. So just listen to that one again.
Okay, perfect.
It'll be fine.
Excellent.
But yeah. And you know what? Go to iTunes. give us a little rating. We'd love that. And while you're there, rate my Bim Bam, my brother, and me.
Or Sawbones, or Quality Control, or The Adventure Zone.
Or rate Polygon.com.
Your podcast, you know what?
On
I
Glassdoor.
didn't look you in the eyes and tell you this, but my brother, and me is absolutely sensational. You guys do incredible work. It's
Thank you
very,
so much.
very, very well made.
I don't
It's
understand
so
why you
good.
made air quotes when you said work, but I do appreciate
I didn't make work.
It's
Oh, it's radio. Yes, and
an
oh,
audio
God.
medium, Sean.
10 more years before I get to go to Sketchfest.
Yes, and I did make air quotes.
Didn't you enjoy that, Chris? Wasn't that great?
Oh, that was so great. I love Justin McElroy.
You know what make it even more enjoyable? If you've been listening to it when wearing nothing but MeUndies.
I have been.
Sorry, that sounded different than I meant it to sound. If you go to MeUndies.com/thumbs, you get 20% off your first order and free shipping. So thanks to MeUndies for sponsoring this episode. That's MEUNDIES. That's MEUN dies, a terrorist threat.com/thumbs.
/thumbs, 20% off free shipping.
Yeah.
Thanks, MeUndies.
All right, see you guys.
See you.
Goodbye. Say goodbye to your mom. Jeez. Okay,
Whoa.
no. Wait, did you actually stop recording?
No, I didn't.
All right.